Hi, what's up, everyone? This is Bad Dad PH. Today, I'll be putting some pork spare ribs on the pit, and I just want to share with you step by step how I make one of our best sellers, smoked pork spare ribs. I didn't show you the trimming process anymore since it takes a bit of time. I'll just make a separate video for that so it's more detailed. But as you can see right now, the ribs are already trimmed into a nice St. Louis cut and split into half racks, which makes them easier to cook and ensures they cook more evenly. That way, you get tender, juicy meat from end to end. Now, I'm applying our homemade rub, so the pork will really have that flavor. The main components of the rub are kosher salt, ground black pepper, granulated garlic, and paprika. That's my base pork rub. Very simple, but very effective. You can copy it, add your own twist, and make it your signature blend at home. So, let's sprinkle the rub. Start at the back, then the sides, and of course on the front, which is the presentation side. Sprinkle generously, then pat gently, so it sticks well to the meat, ready for the smoke. Now, let's fire up the firebox. I'm just using regular charcoal or lump charcoal today, since I ran out of cocoa briquettes. Personally, I prefer cocoa briquettes because they burn longer and keep the heat nice and steady. But lump charcoal works just fine if that's what you've got. The key here is really controlling the temperature. I'm using a butane torch to get the coals going, and to make it faster, I'll give it a little help with a blower. Once the coals are glowing hot, we'll close it up and let the cooking chamber preheat. This part is where the magic starts to happen. Getting that smoker dialed in. When the gauge hits around 225 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit, that's the sweet spot. Now we're ready to start smoking some ribs. And trust me, once that smoke kicks in, the smell alone will get you hungry. Stick around, because this is just the beginning. Now, let's carefully place the spare ribs into the smoke chamber. Make sure to arrange them nicely with enough space in between each rack, so the smoke and heat can circulate properly around the meat. This airflow is what helps develop that even bark and deep smoky flavor. For this cook, I'm using a blend of santal and sampalock wood. Santal gives a mild, fruity sweetness, while sampalock adds a stronger, tangy smoke that really complements pork. Together, they create a rich, balanced flavor that you won't get from just one type of wood. After the first hour of smoking, it's time to spritz. I'm using a mix of water, cane vinegar, and apple juice. This keeps the ribs moist and starts layering in flavor. Close the smoker and let it go for another hour at 225 to 250 degrees. Then give the ribs another spritz to keep the surface moist, help the smoke stick, and deepen that bark for the perfect finish. All right, we're now at the third hour, and that means it's time to pull out these spare ribs for wrapping. Now, here's where the magic really starts. I've got a sheet of foil ready, and before the ribs even touch it, I like to build a little flavor base. First goes a sprinkle of sugar, then a nice pour of my signature barbecue sauce, thinned out with apple juice and a splash of cane vinegar. That mix gives it that sweet, tangy kick that helps the meat stay juicy while it cooks. I'll lay the ribs down, presentation side first, right on top of that goodness, so it soaks everything in. Then I hit the backside with another layer. Yep, more sugar, more sauce, and sometimes even a touch of my spritzing liquid. This way, every single bite has that balance of smoke, sweet, and tang. After that, it's all about the wrap. I fold the foil up nice and tight, almost like tucking the ribs into a little flavor blanket. This seals in the juices and helps tenderize the meat while it continues to cook. Simple but super effective. Next time you wrap your ribs, try adding that little flavor layer inside the foil. It makes a big difference when you finally slice in. Let's place the wrapped spare ribs back into the smoker and keep the temperature steady at 225 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. From here, cook them low and slow for about 2 to 3 hours. At this stage, the ribs won't absorb more smoke, so no need to add wood. Just maintain the heat with charcoal or cocoa briquettes. After about 2 hours, check the internal temperature with an instant read thermometer. You're looking for 195 degrees for that bite off the bone tenderness, or up to 203 if you like them fall off the bone. Once they're done, let the ribs rest in a cooler box for at least 8 hours. Resting is key. It allows the juices to redistribute and the meat to relax, so when you slice into it, the ribs come out tender, juicy, and full of flavor. Now it's time to slice into these beautiful smoked ribs. You can see how juicy and tender the meat is as the knife just glides through. Each cut releases those smoky aromas we've been waiting for all day. Now I'm taking some of the drippings we saved earlier and pouring it back over the sliced ribs. This adds back that moisture and flavor, keeping the meat rich and succulent. Next, I'm arranging them neatly into this aluminum platter, making sure each piece is coated and plated up beautifully. Because great barbecue isn't just about taste, it's about presentation too. Ready to serve, ready to share, and definitely ready to impress.